Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to join us for our Final Expense Sales Academy training. Bear with me here as I get my slides in order. My name is Matt Alina. I'm the Final Expense Manager here at URL, and very glad to see a lot of different faces, a lot of new faces on today's call. We do this Final Expense Sales Academy. Once a month. We do some different trainings and stuff like that several times a month, and we have various team calls and everything. So it's always good to see new people that are looking to join the URL Final Expense family. I will say that Final Expense sales is one of the fastest growing segments of the life insurance industry. It's also one of the more lucrative uh, segments of the final expense or of the life insurance industry. So you're picking a great time to get involved in working with seniors in your local community. Here at URL, we put together our Final Expense Architect program. We've been doing this now for several years, where we customize and design a plan for success for you in the final expense world. So, we're going to be talking about what is final expense insurance today. We're going to be talking about the underwriting experience. You may have done traditional life insurance with traditional underwriting, blood, urine, physical measurements, physical exam, all of that stuff, medical records. We're going to talk about how final expense underwriting is completely different than what you've experienced. We're also going to list out who our top final expense companies are in our portfolio. Some of you may have already heard of success from other agents in the final expense world, people that are making six figures, well into six figures a year. We have agents that are doing two, three, four, $500,000 a year in final expense sales. What is their secret recipe for success? We'll also discuss today where you're going to get your in-depth training with us here at URL and what your next steps will be. What is final expense insurance? For some of you, you may not know, you've heard about it, but you're not entirely sure what it is. Or maybe you've seen advertisements on TV with some of these competitors about a no exam life insurance policy or guaranteed acceptance life insurance policy. What is it all about? Final expense life insurance is a simplified issue, meaning there is no exam. It is a whole life policy designed to ensure the lives of older clientele. There's a sweet spot there between the ages of 50 and 80. Now, some of the final expense companies will start at younger ages, and there are some final expense companies that will go to older ages, 85, 89. Most of the benefit amounts start around 5,000 as the minimum, up to 40,000. There are even some companies that'll go up to $50,000. So again, no exam. It's a whole life policy. With a whole life policy, it is a policy that is designed to cover them for the rest of their life. Coverage never cancels as long as the premiums are paid. One of the things that we do here at URL is you try to get them into a day one benefit, or what they call a level benefit. This is entirely different than what you see advertised on TV. So the goal when you are meeting with somebody is to get them a level benefit. That means the rates are locked in from the very beginning, and regardless of when they die, the full death benefit is paid to their beneficiary. A graded or modified benefit is typically designed for people that have some pre-existing medical conditions. They are taking medications. Maybe they have uncontrolled diabetes, or they've recently had a heart attack, cancer, or stroke. The way that plan works is the rates are locked in. They're going to pay the same rate today, tomorrow, and all the way through the end, but the benefit is not going to be readily available for at least the first 2 years. Typically, in that situation, if death occurs in the first 2 years, the beneficiary is going to get all of the premiums paid plus 10% interest. That's kind of like the guaranteed issue plans. We do have them in our portfolio. The other thing is that sometimes if some companies structure it a little bit differently, where if death occurs in the first year, the beneficiary is going to get 30% of the death benefit. If they die in the second year, it's usually around 60 or 70%. And then if they die in the third year, going on through the rest of their life, it's 100% of the death benefit that is paid out to the beneficiary. So again, those are for people that have pre-existing medical conditions. But the level benefit is what we're trying to get people into. And it really, and keep in mind that a lot of the pre-existing medical conditions, like people that have had heart attacks, cancers, strokes, diabetics, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, those are all people that could be eligible for a day one level benefit. What is final expense insurance? Final expense insurance is really designed to provide seniors with peace of mind. Some people think that it's just earmarked or just designed to pay the funeral home for that casket, the burial, or the cremation and the urn and all those services. It can be used for that, but the client is naming a beneficiary, not the funeral home. They're naming a family member or a trusted friend that whoever's going to whoever's going to be tasked with providing those end of life or the final expense planning. But it can also be used to help continue to make mortgage payments. It can also be used to pay off credit card debt. It can be used to pay off that car loan, or it could just be basic income replacement. You may have clients that are relying heavily on Social Security, and you have married clients. They may need that final expense plan to help offset the loss of income that they're getting from Social Security, where they were getting Social Security checks for two people. Now it's down to one person. Or maybe they're relying on a pension, and when that person dies, that pension goes away. Keep in mind, it is a life insurance policy. And just like life insurance can be used for multiple things, to be for cash on hand, it's tax-free money, it avoids probate. A final expense policy can do the exact same thing. Let's talk a little bit about the underwriting experience. The traditional life insurance, you take the application, there's a couple of pages of medical questions. Then a nurse has to come out to do the exam. Depending on the client's health and their age, the company is going to order medical records from their primary care physician. And typically, a traditional life insurance policy takes between 4 to 6 weeks to get issued. Well, with final expense, one of the nice attractive things as financial advisors, as insurance advisors, is that a lot of times we can get the underwriting decisions right then and there at the point of sale, and sometimes within a week. It's not this long drawn out thing, this long drawn out process. And because the policies get issued quickly, you also get paid quickly too. So the way the underwriting works is you're going to ask the client a series of yes or no questions. When the client answers no, that's a good thing. And a lot of times the underwriting questions are based on timeline. You heard me say that people that have had heart attacks, cancers, strokes can get a day one benefit. Most diabetics can get a day one benefit. Well, the reason that is they'll ask the way they ask the question is, have you ever, or in the past 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, if they've had a heart attack, but it was 5 years ago, they can answer that question no, and they can potentially get that level benefit. Same thing with cancers and strokes. Diabetics are accepted by most final expense plans with a day one benefit. And the way they ask it is they'll ask, when was a person diagnosed with diabetes? Are they experiencing complications with diabetes, meaning vision problems, kidney problems, heart problems that all stem from diabetes? If they answer that question no, they could get a level benefit. A lot of times these final expense companies are not concerned if they're taking a pill or if they're taking insulin. They just want to know that it's controlled. So you can do an e-application with a lot of these companies, or a tele-application, or the traditional paper application. When the company processes the application, they're going to be looking at the MIB, and they're going to be looking at prescription drug databases. There are several companies that'll give you an at the appointment sale, or know before you go. They'll give you the underwriting decision right then and there. It's all done electronically, and it's done very quickly. And you know before you leave that person's home, or they leave your office, or if you're doing it over a sale over the phone, before you hang up, that the policy is going to be issued and approved. So you can get same day underwriting decisions. Some companies will give you an underwriting decision within 3 to 5 business days. Again, not a long, drawn out process. No medical exams, no medical records. It's yes or no application questions, MIB, prescription drugs, and an underwriting decision. Not a long, drawn out process, not an invasive process. That's what makes it attractive, not only for you as the sales agent, but also to your clients, because then they're not having to answer all these invasive questions. So again, no blood, no urine, no vitals, no medical records, quick underwriting decisions. Most of your clients are going to be accepted. Most of your clients are going to get a day one benefit. Less than 20% of your clients are going to have to go guaranteed issue. When does somebody need guaranteed issue? Guaranteed issue, again, no medical questions at all. These are for people that they're on dialysis, people who who have COPD and on oxygen, people who have recently had a heart attack, cancer, or stroke, or people who are currently going through cancer treatment. Those are the situations where you'll need guaranteed issue. HIV, another one that would need guaranteed issue. There's a few other examples of when somebody may need a guaranteed issue plan, but those are the common situations where a guaranteed issue plan is the only option available for your client. So, who are our top sellers? Well, let me kind of give you a list. This is not all of our top sellers, but this is most of them. So let me talk to you a little bit about the companies. We have Transamerica, Mutual of Omaha. They're household names. People have heard the names. People have not heard of the names of Great Western. They have not heard the names of Liberty Bankers Life, Royal Neighbors, Foresters. They may have heard the names of AIG, Gerber, or American Amicable. But let me kind of break it down as to why these companies are the most popular. So let me bring the slide a little bit bigger here for you. So Mutual of Omaha and Transamerica, household names, is really what it's all about there. You can sell them over the phone. You can sell them. You can sell them over the phone. You can do a paper application, an e-application, entirely up to you. The underwriting decision is typically within about 3 to 5 business days. There are times where they're going to surprise you and shock you and give you an underwriting decision within 24 to 48 hours. But it's better to under promise and over deliver. So let's just say that we're with this 3 to 5 business days. Foresters is another one of our big sellers. They are probably one of the most diabetic friendly companies that we have in the portfolio. They don't care that the person is diabetic. They don't care if the person is taking insulin or pills. They don't care if the client was diagnosed at the age of 10 with diabetes. As long as it's controlled and they have no other complications stemming from diabetes, they can get coverage. Foresters is a fraternal company, which that means that they're also providing living or member benefits, college scholarship money for children and grandchildren. They provide access to free wills. Everybody needs a will. They provide discounts for legal services. They provide discounts for the testing kits. If you have a diabetic, for the diabetic testing kits, there's so many different member benefits there. And the nice thing about Foresters is you get an underwriting decision right then and there at the point of sale. Same thing goes with Liberty Bankers Life. Liberty Bankers Life, They're really good with giving you an underwriting decision at the point of sale. One of their cool technology pieces that they have is they have an application or a phone app that you can download to your iPhone or your smartphone. With that, you can take a picture or scan the barcode on the back of a person's driver's license, answer a couple of questions, and it'll be able to give you a red light or green light as to whether or not you should proceed with an application. Underwriting decisions are given right then and there at the point of sale. Here's the other really cool thing about Liberty Bankers Life. They offer living benefits automatically built into their program. So they provide clients access to the death benefit while they're still alive. If they can no longer do 2 of 6 activities of daily living, or they've been diagnosed with a terminal illness with less than a year to live, or they're in confined care, they have access to the death benefit while they're still alive. Royal Neighbors. They're a company that's also a fraternal company like Forrester's. They have an instant approval. Nobody is declined. Let me say that again. Instant approval. Nobody is declined. They have a guaranteed issue plan. Member benefits automatically built in there. They are also very diabetic friendly. They're also friendly with people that are taking gabapentin and some of those medications that may work for neuropathy, diabetics and neuropathy. Uh, Royal Neighbors is not concerned with that. Royal Neighbors does not ask height and weight on their standard level benefit plan. There's also Great Western, known as Wellaby, another company, instant approvals, e-application only, living benefits, and nobody is declined. The client's either going to get a level, graded, or guaranteed issue plan, just like Royal Neighbors. And then we have Occidental Life. A lot of people have heard of Occidental Life or American Amicable. Those are companies that also provide living benefits. And anybody that watches that Magnolia stuff on the Magnolia Network, a lot of that takes place in Waco, which is where American Amicable is located. We do have guaranteed issue plans as well. Some of the top sellers for guaranteed issue, no questions asked, Gerber Life and AIG and Great Western. Those are companies that will provide up to $25,000 each. If a client dies in the first 2 years with a guaranteed issue plan, the beneficiary gets back all of the premiums paid plus 10% interest. And if they die due to an accident within the first 2 years, so death caused by accident, then it's the full death benefit that is paid out to the beneficiary. Now, earlier I mentioned that we have agents that are writing well into 6 figures a year, doing $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year in final expense. What is their recipe? What's the secret recipe for success? So lean in here just a little bit. I'm going to tell you what they're doing. The secret recipe is they have leads and prospects. So they're investing money in leads, or they're participating in one of our lead programs, or using a lead vendor and leaning heavily on URL to support them with obtaining fresh leads, prospects, people to call. They use one core company. Doesn't mean they don't pivot, but they use one core company, and they design a compelling presentation around that core company. The big thing about what we do versus what the client is seeing on TV is customizing a plan for them, meeting with them. They're having dialogue, talking to the client, finding out what their needs are, what their concerns are, designing a plan around that, addressing those concerns, and showing the sizzle. Living benefits in what we do versus what they see advertised on TV, that is a huge selling point. Huge selling point. They know the common objections. They know how to get back to them. They lean on URL. They lean on me. They lean on my colleagues here at URL for sales support. One of the things that we cannot teach you here is focus, drive, and work ethic. You have to be regimented. You have to have focus. You have to be able to go to work and let the outside influences, the outside distractions, not influence you, and follow our duplicatable system. Folks, we have a whole roadmap for this, from getting leads to putting together a solid presentation, how to get around rebuttals, how to get referrals, who to call for sales support, and how to duplicate it. It's wash, rinse, and repeat. What is a duplicatable system? Well, let me kind of get into that a little bit. I mentioned this earlier: wash, rinse, and repeat. You're going to purchase leads on a consistent basis, which is going to yield a certain number of sales. So I'll use this as an example. A 1,000-piece mailer right now is costing $550. Typically, that's going to yield about a 1.5%. It does depend on geography, where you're located. There are other um, influences that will determine how a lead performs. Election years, that's a big one. Um, Weather, post office, those are things that um, can kind of mess things up. But if you're spending $550 on a 1,000-piece mailer, it should yield close to 15 prospects. Out of those 15 prospects, you should get about 7 deals out of that, which is going to yield you about $5,600 in commissionable annualized premium. This is how you need to know your numbers. This is where you spend this, you know you're going to get that. You'll find that 10% of what you make is going to 10% is going back into 10 to 15% is going back into your marketing. Leads are our marketing. Leads are not a luxury. Where people go wrong in this industry is they buy leads as a luxury. When they have a little extra cash, that's when they buy leads. And that is not what they should be doing. Buy leads as often as you possibly can. If you spend $550 per week, that's $3,200 or $2,200 a month. That should yield you $22,400 in commissionable annualized premium during the month. That's how you're on pace to do over $268,000 in annualized premium, a net profit of over $240,000. How did I get these numbers? The average commission that you earn on a final expense plan is about $800. You're going to get some people that are going to spend $100 to $200 or more a month. You're going to get some people that are going to spend somewhere in the ballpark of $30, $40, $50 a month. But when you average it out, that's how you get to know your numbers. So you're going to call your leads, you're going to order your leads and do all of that stuff. And you're just going to keep wash, rinse, and repeat. We have a bunch of different training and resources, and I want to kind of point that out to you here. We have a final expense coaching call that we meet the time is incorrect on here. It's every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. So it goes from 9 to 9:30. Sometimes the calls go a little bit longer, but this is where other colleagues within the final expense family here at URL, this is where we all get together. We get ready to get focused and get ready to make it a good week. If we've had a rough week the previous week, we talk about it. If we had a great week last week, we talk about it. We celebrate your successes. We also help you through your struggles, because you're going to run into people that are brand new to the industry, and you're going to run into people who have been in the industry for 20, 30 years or more. We do a final expense closers clinic. Folks, this is our meat and potatoes training. This is where we do it on the second and fourth Tuesday of the month. And it's virtual, in-depth training from beginning to end. How to book appointments, how to make a compelling presentation, how to rebound from rebuttals, how to get clients approved and how to get them to say yes, and how do you get referrals. We do this from soup to nuts. This is a kind of an intense training. It's live. You can ask questions as we're doing it. I say it takes about an hour, but with questions and stuff like that, it can sometimes last an hour and 15, hour and 20. Um, all depends on how quickly we get through the material. But it is a fantastic training. I highly recommend you get involved with that. Second and fourth Tuesdays of the month. Our next one coming up is next week, this upcoming Tuesday. So, what are your next steps? Let's talk about it. Decide that you want to help seniors with their final expense planning. You have to have a heart for older clientele. Do you like dealing with older people? Do you like dealing with low to middle income people? You also need to be willing to give this an honest effort. 90 days is an honest effort. 30 days is not. 60 days is not. You're not going to see any results in the first 60 days. 90 days, you should start seeing the pattern. And it takes 90 days. 90 days. Contact me by this Friday before 12 noon. And together, you and I will customize a course of action. We'll select core companies. We'll look at a sustainable lead territory for you. We'll get you connected with our final expense team, the other people within our team, get into our sales trainings, and start making money. So, again, the next steps, first and foremost, you need to be willing to give this an honest effort for 90 days and decide that you like to help low to middle income seniors. Contact me by Friday, and then we'll take care of the rest. You can call me or you can text me. My office line takes text messages now. It's 717 216 8041. 717 216 8041. You can email me at matta, that is MATTA, at URLINSgroup.com. And just understand that we do have a solid final expense team and that sales and lead territories are on a first come, first serve basis. So that somebody may be working in your county that you reside in. We'll find another county for you. But again, deadline is Friday before 12 noon Eastern time. Let me give you my phone number and my email address again. It's 717 216 8041. I can take some questions if you have any questions. 717 216 8041. Email is Matt A. That's MATTA at URLINSgroup.com. Folks, now is a great time to get involved in the final expense marketplace. Maybe you've given it a try somewhere else and you've struggled, you've had a hard time with it, or you think that we're like some of the other organizations that are out there that are trying to recruit. I will tell you that I want people that are going to be honest, people with integrity, people that want to give this an honest effort, people that have a heart for the seniors, and people that like to help other people. It's what it's really all about. The money will be there. I promise you that. But let's work together and let's have some fun in the process. I'll tell you that some of the top producers that come out of URL, it comes out of final expense. So love to be able to have you join our team. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. And if you have any questions, comments, let me know. I'd like to hear back from you. I like getting feedback. 717-216-8041 or Matt A at URLINSgroup.com.